Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you may be. It's great to have you here. Well, today, as you've seen in the start, we've got an artist coming on. Her name is Cindy, and we're going to find out a little bit about Cindy, what she's been when she was a J-Dub, and enough of me talking. Let's bring our guest on and introduce you to Cindy. Hello, Cindy.
Hi.
How are you
Hi, everyone.
going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. And have you had a great day today?
I have had a good day. It's been raining here. I'm in Arizona. What's it? I'm in Arizona, so we don't get. I mean, we get rain. We get monsoons here in
Yeah.
July, but it's usually like hotter, really, really hot here. So
Oh, is that
it's
right?
like what's in the 70s today. I was loving it. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I don't know what we're at. We might be around 60s. Oh, no, we must be less than that. But you can't walk outside in shorts and t-shirt. I'll put it that way.
Oh, well, yeah, you have to be in shorts here. It's just, it was 115, which is, I don't know what that is in Celsius, but it was really hot a few weeks back. So
Yeah,
really
that would
hot.
be, I don't know what it would be. Anyway,
I'm not sure. Hot. Too hot.
as long as you're feeling comfortable, so that's good.
Yes. Yes, I'm good.
Alrighty, so you've obviously been a J-Dub, so maybe you'd like to start telling us a little bit of history about you being a J-Dub and how you got in.
Sure. I got in when I was a teenager. My parents were never involved in it at all. We tried hard. When I say we, I mean my brother and I. I was 17. I guess he was 18, and we got interested together. This was 1975 when the world was supposed to end, according to them. I don't
Yeah.
even remember hearing that. It must have been later in 1975, like towards the end of the year, because I don't even remember hearing any of that stuff till after. In 1976, I was baptized. And
Yeah.
I remember hearing about it then, but I really don't remember that. But then I didn't own anything, had nothing to donate. So I was just getting, I don't know. But yeah, so we got in then. And yeah, I was 18 when I got baptized. I was very active at first because I thought found this is it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I was raised, we didn't really have religion too much. My mom and dad are Jewish. I'm Jewish. So we didn't really go to synagogue. We really didn't do the whole church thing at all. So I was kind of felt like I was searching for it. So I'd had some abuse early on as a child, and I think that kind of gravitated me towards them. That maybe that authoritarian, whatever. I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
The love
yeah.
bombing. I'm not sure, but yeah. So I got in as a teenager. So that's pretty much the entrance of it. I mean, they drew me in with the love bombing. I was
Okay.
high school and there was this guy there and he played the guitar and he was so charismatic and cute, of course. And he got like 15 of us from that high school in at that time. I mean, most of those people left. My brother
Yeah.
is still in, and obviously I'm not in. So, but yeah, that's how we got in.
There you go. All on the whims of a male. Wow.
Yeah,
I noticed you said cute.
he was cute and he
He
sang.
was.
Yes.
Oh, really?
He later had a breakdown to boot. I mean, yeah. I mean, we followed him and he didn't last long. Yeah. I don't
Oh,
know what
that's good.
happened to him, but yeah.
At least you're out, and that's the main thing. So, how long did you actually stay in for?
Uh, I was in through my 20s.
Yep.
I started getting headaches really bad when I was in after the love bombing, I guess, wore off. I started getting chronic pain.
Mm,
And I'm pretty sure that was just all the stress, always having to be perfect. I married a Jehovah's Witness when I was 19, and I didn't know him very long because that's how we did it back then. I guess
yeah,
that's how they still do it. I mean, you can't have sex, so you get married.
you do
And
get married.
yeah, I didn't know him very well. He was actually a horrible man, and I found that out. But of course, being a Jehovah's Witness woman, I'm the one who gets blamed. But you're not doing
Mm,
your wifely duties well enough, right? Do it better. And he's like, it was just, yeah, he was not a nice guy.
yeah,
So we didn't last that long. I was married we were married 5 years, and I left him, and I kind of left the Jehovah's Witness at the same time, because I just had a complete breakdown. I was at that point, I was in
Oh,
pain all the time. I was just,
yeah.
you just feeling that, you got to do more. You're not doing enough. You got to do more all the time was like just too much for me. And I did a lot. I mean, I did the auxiliary pioneer when I was during the summers.
Yeah.
I put in the time. Back then it was 3 meetings a week. And when you weren't in the meetings, you were studying for the meetings, and they got on you if you didn't turn your time in. You weren't doing talks. I mean, it was a lot of pressure, as you know, even for the women as well. And I'm sure it's more for the men, but I mean, we had our share too. So
Yeah.
it was,
Both sides have their shares.
yeah, it's just pressure. So I kind of had just a complete breakdown, and like I said, I
Mm,
left them at the same time, and it was bad for like 10 years there. I couldn't sleep. I went and saw therapists. I was in and out of psych wards. I was very suicidal. I thought I was going to die. That, they told me when I left, and basically I didn't even go over that part, but that either God or Satan is going to get you, one or the other. So
yep.
I figured,
Yep.
what hope is there? So I became suicidal. I turned it inward. I figured if anyone's
Oh,
taking me out, it's going to be myself. And
yeah.
I'm lucky to be alive today. I really am. I was almost successful, and so I'm very grateful. But yeah, I was disfellowshipped in 1983,
Yeah.
reinstated in 1984, and walked away in 1985. Um, Yeah, so I don't know if you want to know what happened there, why
Well,
I
it's up to
left.
you if you'd
Yeah,
like to share
why
that
I
with us.
left was I was remarried at this time. I was like,
Right.
I had a knack, a faulty picker is what I called it back then. Everybody I brought into my life was like abusive in one
Oh,
form or another. It seemed like, I
yeah.
mean, I'm talking bosses, therapists, obviously
Yeah.
husbands, boyfriends. But I mean, I married. I would just get married. I've been married 5 times. One of them I was married to for 15 years, and he was a healthy relationship. He died of cancer, so he
Oh,
doesn't count.
that's
But
sad.
but until I met him, I just was bouncing. This was when I left the
Yeah.
cult, and what happened though, I was married to my second husband, who was also an asshole. Um,
Oh,
and but he wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, but he was still an asshole.
yeah.
Not that all Jehovah's Witnesses are assholes. Okay, this is not good. anyway, so I'm married to my second husband. The first one tracks me down, and he raped me, basically, is what
Oh,
happened. And the congregation blamed me because I didn't scream. Yeah.
yeah.
And the police blamed me because I knew him. And they didn't really blame me. They just didn't do anything. I tried to press charges, but they didn't. The congregation he was in, which was in San Francisco, nothing happened. He never got disfellowship. But that was
Mm,
okay. You know what? It was my wake up call. That was
good.
my wake up call. I could not justify staying in there 1 minute longer after
Yeah.
that. And I was gone. That was it. I was still like, it took me a while because back then there was no internet, there was no support, there
Yep.
was no help, and I really floundered. I went to 12-step meetings back then. I wasn't an alcoholic. I thought I was because I was from two parents, workaholic
Mm,
parents. So I had like the
yeah.
same symptoms, and I attracted addicts and alcoholics into my life, but I didn't really drink. I mean, I did use drugs during that period, but
Right.
not to that extent that I needed that. But I thought I was, but they did help me a lot. And then I stumbled onto Codependence Anonymous and Adult Child of Alcoholic, which they're all 12-step meetings. And I did those for years, and they
Yeah.
really helped me. They really, really helped
Great.
me a lot in therapy. But I had to be careful because I was, like I said, everybody I picked was abusive in some way, including the
Mm, mm,
therapist. I had some pretty bad therapists. So it was really scary for a while there. It's like I didn't know who to trust, but things got better eventually. I met
yep.
my late husband. And like I said, I was married to him for 15 years, and he died of cancer. And we adopted a little girl. She's
Nice.
14. She's in Louisiana right now. But so and then, I married my present husband, and he's a sweetheart. Somewhere along the line, I learned to love myself. And I think that's when I stopped attracting abusive people into
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah.
and and I healed from all of that. I mean, it wasn't an overnight period. I mean,
Mm, mm,
when I first left, like I said, it probably took 10 years of it's being suicidally depressed and in and out of therapy in the psych wards and just being nuts. I mean, literally, I was just nuts
Yeah.
back then. There's no other
Yeah.
way to put it, no nice way to put it. It was nuts. But I mean, I got better, so I'm happy today. I have a good life today.
Well, that's great to hear. It really is great.
Yeah.
So you said your brother was still there. Is he out?
Yeah.
Is he
No, he's very active. I'm
very
pretty
active?
sure he's a traveling overseer.
Oh,
We
really?
don't talk about Jehovah's Witness, but he was an elder when I was back, long
Yeah.
time ago, and he's very active and he goes all over. So I'm pretty sure
Mm-hmm.
that's what he is. But he doesn't preach to me, though he did a couple weeks, I don't know, about a month ago. It was
Oh, did
weird.
he?
Like he did never preach to me ever since I
Yeah.
disfellowshipped. It's like we just didn't discuss. I mean, he doesn't shun me, but we don't really have anything to talk about either. But he kind of raised his kids to shun me. At least
Mm-hmm.
just not really to shun me, just not to have anything to do with me. I guess the same thing. I don't know.
Yep.
So even though one of them, I have a nephew who's disfellowshipped, he and I have nothing to do with each other because he was raised to not have anything to do with me. I mean, I've tried to
Yeah.
reach out to him. He's in California, but the rest of them, yeah, they're all in. My brother, my sister-in-law, the other kids and their kids, they're all in. And I don't really. The only one I talk with is my brother once in a while. Like I
Yep.
said, he did preach to me about a month ago. I'm pretty sure it's because this, the pandemic and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're probably pressuring them a lot to go to family members. That's what I'm guessing, because he doesn't normally do that ever. And I shut him down right away. It's like, I'm not going to hear it. I just, it's like, you and I don't have anything in common right now. You're never going to get me to go back. It's not going to happen. It's like we
Yeah.
think differently now. So, he stopped.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
How did it feel when you stopped him?
It felt good. It's like I didn't
Good.
have a voice for so long, and I
Yeah.
do today. And so it's nice being able to use it. I mean, I wasn't mean to him or anything. I'm not a mean person, but just letting him know that, don't waste, you're not going to count your minutes with me. It ain't happening. You're going to find someone else. I know they're not going door to door. At least in this state, they're not.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Maybe that's what it was about, just getting the minutes in. So.
Well, it's good that you felt happier than maybe you did once when you were closer to being in as a
Oh
JW.
yeah. I'm so grateful that there's all these organizations for people leaving. The internet and stuff.
Yeah.
It was hard not having anybody back then, and I felt so alone. And so it's great that this is here, and I try and be active. I'm not probably as active as some people, but I try and
Yeah.
stay in the community to help people in whatever way I can, to let them know that there is life after, that you do get better.
Definitely.
For me, I think a big part of it is a determination that if we want it, we can have it. Like, I
Yep.
went in and out of those psych wards for a long time, and it finally just occurred to me, I don't have to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I was sick and tired of it. It's like, I really don't have to go back. And you know what? I never went back after that. And this was like 30 years ago. I don't know. It's a long time ago. I'm old, but so yeah, it's a lot of it is just, and I know it's easier said than done, and it sounds simplistic. And I think a lot of it too is I did a lot of work. I mean, I put affirmations on the mirror and said I'm beautiful every morning, because I didn't, I would look in the mirror and I wouldn't see that. So, I mean, I did the work, and I try and stay in the present moment, because for me, anxiety resides in the future and the past. So when I find myself going to either of those places, the 12-step meetings taught me that, how to just stop it, and it can be done anyway. I mean, I've read ways where people will put a rubber band around their wrist and snap it, but you got to be careful not to hurt yourself, or take a
Yeah.
book and you drop it, anything like a loud noise, and stop to change your thought process, and then you think of something happy, so, or something that, going to the beach, or just whatever, and it takes a while. It does.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight, but it
No.
does. It can happen. It does happen. If it happened for me, it can happen for anyone.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Did you see that comment that came in about you? You are
Oh,
so bubbly, Cindy. Love your hair.
thank you. Thank you.
So I've mentioned you've mentioned a few times already that the therapy and things like that have really helped.
They
Would
did.
you, like the J Dubs always tell us, oh no, go to the elders. I've never had any training for a start.
So,
Um,
no.
would you encourage anybody who's been in the Jehovah's Witnesses or even another high control group to go and get some therapy?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, just be careful. Like for me, because I just attracted all those abusive people into my
Yep,
life, that I did the same with the therapist. And
yep,
there was mainly one that was really bad and did some damage to me that because I trusted him.
hmm,
So that's my only is just be careful and trust your gut on that one. But there's so many groups today that have the help, and there's therapists today that deal with that, specifically.
yep,
Like there wasn't even therapists back then to
nope,
help you. There was nothing. It's like I
nope.
was in therapy, they couldn't help me because they didn't know how.
That's exactly right. It's totally different now. There's so much
It
more out
It
there.
really is. There's so much more. I did.
So when,
Yeah.
sorry, Karen.
I say a lot of it is giving yourself those good positive messages. Like, like every day I would start out with something positive, like little books that, just to get your mind on the right track. And I don't do that so much anymore, so I don't need it so much anymore. But back
Yeah,
then it was very important.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when was the last time you really had intensive therapy? If that's not too personal a question.
No, no, I'm trying to think. Okay, it hasn't been in. Actually, no, I did do a little bit of therapy in this state. I was in just yeah, so maybe a couple years I was and did a little bit of therapy here in Arizona, just because we moved
Yeah,
from California to Arizona and teenagers and it's all new, so I did a little bit of therapy then. So I'm not opposed to it at all. I
no,
think
that's
it's
good.
wonderful that it's there, and for to make use of it. This is hard stuff to get through. It really
Yeah.
is. It's like I didn't sleep for a week one time. I mean, when I was out, I was afraid of the nightmares. Are you still there?
Yep, I'm
Oh
still
yeah,
here.
that's right. You told me about this. Sorry.
I'll come back.
Sorry.
You're right. You're right.
You warned me. I forgot. but
No, that's
but
fine,
yeah, it's
Cindy.
not easy stuff. So definitely, if there's make yourself of use of whatever you can. Art has helped me a lot. I only discovered I could paint a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
I've always been artsy, but I didn't know I could paint. God, if I'd known I could paint, I'd have been doing it since I was 10. I'd be a millionaire by now, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I just discovered it a couple years ago. YouTube tutorials. And it's like, wow, I could do this. And yeah, so
Well, while we're talking about art, your daughter put something together, didn't she?
yes, she's very good at editing things. There's the TikTok stuff and all that.
Well, let's play your daughter's compilation of some of the things that you've done. So we'll watch this and we'll come back to you.
Okay.
They're really nice.
Thank you.
I love that one, the red one with the killer whales in it.
The Orca Fantasy. Yeah, that
Is that
was
what you called it?
yeah, well, it was actually not my design. That was one of the tutorials I did.
Yep.
Yeah, but now they're all my design. But the first year, all I did was tutorials.
Yep.
The second year, I branched out. The third year, I started doing portraits. This year, I started doing portraits, so I could I could draw it. I can do their portrait now, or pet portraits and people portraits. Yeah.
So how did people hear about you? Just
How
word
did-
of mouth?
Oh, how did or how do they? What were you asking?
How do they hear
Oh, I
about
have
you?
my
And
Facebook Art by Lady Rocks, and
yep,
on Facebook Cindy Rocks, and I do have a couple websites I'm working on, but one of them it was Teespring and they changed it, and I've got to go back and do it all over. The other one, yeah. So Facebook is the best way right now. I have a Art by Lady Rocks, ROCX, and
yep,
then Cindy Rocks. And I
yep.
do, as I do my paintings, I put them on my Facebook, my art site. So as I'm doing them, I'll put, and they're different stages of development. I'll put them up there, and then when they're done, I'll put them up too. So
Yeah, I'm just going to try and bring up one of the ones. Oh, here we can bring this one up. Um, do, 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 do. This one is of your dragonflies.
oh yeah, that was
Oh,
a good
this,
one. There was glitter on that one too. You can't really see it with the lighting, but I put glitter on it.
yep. Here we go.
There it is.
So, what was the story behind that one?
Actually, that was a photo somebody sent me from
Oh, okay.
Australia. I think it was Australia. Well, Facebook Australia, but yeah, and I loved it so much, I just made a painting out of it. So, yeah,
That's really nice. And is that what the colours were in the photograph?
yeah. I can copy, like, usually I base my paintings on photographs. I don't have to, but it's easier that way. That way, I know where the light goes and doesn't go. So
Yeah,
I just take a photograph and I can copy it exactly. I don't know how I do it. I've still asked myself, how do I do this? But so I don't trace anything. I just, like, when I do somebody, I just look at it and just, I don't know how I do it, but it works every time. So what can I say?
out of all the ones you've done, what's your favourite piece?
Oh my God. I think my favorite piece was actually one I did of somebody had me do a commission piece of,
Mm,
it was a wine bottle, but she had a family restaurant in Greece that she had never been to, and all she had was a picture of, like, the family wine bottle and the table. And
yeah,
so I made, like, this whole Greece painting, and I didn't use any, I mean, I picked little photos to go by, but it came from in here, so it was different than all my other ones. But and it was a big one. It was like a 4-foot painting, so that was my favorite one. It's yeah. I'll post it on. I'll find it and post it for if people want to
yeah,
see it. Yeah, I'll
it'd
put
be
it on my
nice.
site after. I think I have a copy of it. I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, I do. Kidding, I do.
Somebody there likes the dragonflies.
Oh yeah, that one sold. I do art shows twice a month now, and that one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I know they're coming off my walls faster than I could keep them up these days. But that's a good thing. So I'm not complaining. It's a good thing. Yeah, it helps, especially in today's economy and raising a
Yeah,
teenager. Yeah.
yes. It all takes that money that you need to.
Exactly. So yeah.
Yeah. So, what sort of styles of painting? Is it paint? Is it oil based? Is it?
Oh, it's acrylic.
It's
Yeah,
acrylic,
acrylic,
water based. Yep.
golden. Like now, I'm in my art studio now. Golden acrylic. It's a
Yep.
heavy body paint. There's different types of paint. So some of the student body paint are the ones you get at Walmart, and this is like has a lot of pigment in it, so they call it the heavy body paint. And there's like
Okay.
3 levels of heavy body paint, and this is like the heaviest of the heavy
Yeah.
body paint, level 3, and that's what I like to use. But I've never tried oil. Oil takes a long time to dry, so in
Yeah, it
some ways
does.
it would be really nice. And everything dries super fast here in Arizona. There's no humidity,
Yeah.
so it's like I have to get something like a retardant to put in my paint, the acrylic, just to slow the time it dries down.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah.
What's the story behind this one?
That one is also one of my tutorials that I did. That was when I was teaching myself to paint. So that's a design by Cinnamon Cooney. So yeah, I
Mm,
don't actually have one on there, but it's a really cool painting, isn't it? I mean, I
it's
love it.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know what the story is on it because it wasn't my design.
Well, you've done a great job. How long after you did all your? Where was that in the tutorial stage?
I'm sorry, us again?
When you're watching your YouTube ones and
Right.
following the tutorials on there,
Oh, okay. They take
how
a
long
lot
into?
longer. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Like the tutorials would take, because I'm teaching myself. So I would pause it, do what she's doing, then pause it, and keep doing that. So it could take like, there was one I did of the ocean when I was learning oceans. It was 9 videos long. It took me
9 videos.
yeah, it took me 6 weeks to do that one. Yeah. So like this one here probably took me a couple days to do. Like now I
Yeah,
could do them pretty fast because tutorials, like I said, it's a learning process. I was teaching myself, so
yeah,
it went
yeah,
slowly, but
yeah.
but it's okay. It's that's it. Yeah, you just put on some music and put on that and it's fun having somebody there say, okay, now get this color and do this, and it doesn't always look like what hers looks like, but it's still, that's how I learned. So
Sure.
yeah.
What sort of things would you like to paint in the future?
Well, my this doing portraits was my latest challenge. So, I'm not sure. I flowers are hard for me to do, actually, believe
Okay.
it or not. But so maybe I'll attempt flowers. But I'm still working on, like, doing people is fascinating. For me to like. Wait, I'll show you my daughter that I did here. She's right here
Okay,
on the
cool.
wall. This one. This is my daughter. Well, she's
Good.
got a kind of a funny face. But
Does she get that from mum?
pardon?
Does she get that from you? Watching
No,
you all these
she's
years?
adopted. Well, maybe.
Yeah, we can soon learn traits though. So I'm just wondering.
That's true. She's got a lot of my personality, so that she's picked up. But yeah, she's a sweetie. But I like doing so. Yeah, doing people was a big one. Like it took me 2 years of painting before I even wanted to attempt doing a person. So, and Nevaeh was my first one that I. No, actually, that's not true. I think I did one before. Anyway, but so I'm still, kind of, I'm in awe that I could actually capture somebody's face. So
Yeah,
I'm going to work on that for a while longer, getting better at that, I think.
I was never any good trying to do faces when I was drawing on that. They all looked wacky, so I stopped doing them.
Well, the thing with painting is white paint takes out a lot, which is why I love it so much, because any mistake I make, I can just take it out and start over if I really want to. So it makes it
Well,
good. I
is that your
can't
favorite
draw.
color? Is that your favorite color? Paint white
White,
or
absolutely have a bunch of it. But yeah, I can't draw. Believe it or not, if you would have asked me a couple of years ago and told me I would
yeah,
be painting, I would have said, no, I can't even draw a stick figure because I really can't draw a stick figure. But with painting, you could put it in. It's more about where the lines go. I don't know how to describe it more than that, but it's where the light go, where the lines go, and if you don't like the way where that line is, you could take it out and make it go the way you want it to. So
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's why I like painting. It's like I really can't draw.
Well, it's good. You seem to enjoy the painting.
I do. I do.
Yeah,
It's kept me sane. Yeah, especially this year, this past year, past two
yeah,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
What other sorts of things do you like doing?
Uh, well, I take care of my daughter. She's a handful. I like to cook. I mean, if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be cooking because I'm a pretty good cook. So, but that takes time
Can we
too.
put that to the test then?
I know. Well, if you're ever out here, but yeah. So I think the cooking. What I used to do before I started painting was I took jewelry and I tore it apart and I covered
Oh,
things
yeah,
like frames or paper mache. Like I have a dinosaur that's covered in jewelry, and did a little house covered in jewelry. So that's what I used to do. Like I said, till I discovered I could paint, and then I now that's all I'm doing is painting. So there's so much to learn just with that. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, no, that's good. I noticed on your Facebook page you seem to, obviously before COVID, you like to go to festivals, sort of music festival things.
Yes, my husband is a musician. He plays lead guitar in a group that he's in, Wrought Iron. So we're out and about a lot. He's really good. I mean, he is. He's really good. So yeah, you could you'll see him on my Facebook page, especially on Friday night. I go live a lot, and whatever music we're listening to, I'll put on there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that yeah, we do a lot of music stuff too, music and art stuff.
What's your favorite song of your husband's that he seems to like playing with the guitar?
Oh, I don't know. You put me on the spot there. I mean, well, they do the wrought iron. He writes his own songs, so they don't
Oh,
really
does
do
he?
cover songs.
Yeah.
So it's like I really like all of their songs. They call it desert rock. It's sort of a mix between country and rock and roll. It's hard to describe, but you should check it out. Their name is Wrought Iron with a W. So it's WROUGHT, Wrought Iron. And they have a
Maybe we
Facebook page too. Yeah.
cool. Maybe we can get you to put that up as well,
Oh
so
yeah,
we
I
can
can do
see the
that.
types of music that you like when your hubby's playing.
Yes, I like all of his music. But Pink Floyd was one of my favorite albums. I went to my first Pink Floyd concert when I was 16, before I became a Jehovah's Witness. And I loved them. They just put on the best concert. I mean, very visual.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Did you ever go to any concerts when you were a J-Dub?
No, I don't think so. They weren't really into that, having fun. you but I was a pretty good, did what I told. I remember looking down on, like, when I was in high school and I was so
Yeah,
into it. And there was like a few high school kids there who were raised as Jehovah's Witnesses. And they're like done by that time, right? They don't want nothing to
yeah.
do with it. I'm like, oh, they're getting away with,
Mm,
it's like, and I was just all, telling everybody about it. Like I said, we tried to get my parents. I'm so glad they never came in. My dad is still alive, but my mom has passed on. But
mm.
we tried. Oh man, we tried. They didn't want
Yeah,
nothing to do with it.
good on them. They saw through what it really is.
Yes, they
And
did.
we've
Well, they
got
were
to.
both salespeople, so maybe that had something to do with it.
So you get to see your dad often?
I do. He lives in Arizona. They're why we moved out here. So he's
Oh,
not too
nice.
far from me. He's 80, 88,
Yeah.
88, and he's got cancer, but it's been in remission. He's like his doctor's longest surviving cancer patient. He's had it since 2012, but like I said, it's totally in remission right now. So he hasn't
Oh,
had a
that's good.
treatment in years. So yeah, so we're really happy about that. Yeah.
Has he ever told you what you were like as a J-Dub versus now?
No, not really.
Not really.
No,
Be
no.
interesting to find out from his perspective how you are now as to
Yeah.
when you were in.
Oh, I know how I was. I was depressed I may have smiled on the outside, but if you looked in my eyes, you went to see no light. It was all a show. I was so unhappy on the inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very
Yeah.
common story.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you said, look at the eyes. That tells you everything.
Yep. Yep. So
I've
there
had
is
something
hope.
come in, inspiring how we can find ourselves, our passions after J-Dubs. Thank you, Cindy, for the inspiration. Ever thought about yourself being as an inspiration?
I, I don't know. I try to be. I figure the universe has provided me with a lot of help. And so I figure I would like the universe to use me in whatever way, to help other people that are struggling. So I
Yeah.
try and keep, like, I've got two Facebook pages because, since I kind of can be a little political, which I won't go into that, right? Obviously. But I would get thrown in Facebook jail and then my art site would get locked up. So
Oh,
I have an alter ego now. So my CYNDI rocks is where my political posts go. So that if I get thrown in jail, I won't get my art site locked up.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. Why did I go off on that tangent?
Well, no, that's all right. You've got to protect yourself.
But yeah, so you can find me on either one. Not everybody can handle my political side.
No, and you just demonstrated there that something we weren't allowed as a JW, and that is have a political view.
I never thought it would happen. I
Yeah.
really, yeah, I never thought it would. And I'm not
So,
mean even on that. Other
yeah.
people have
So,
the
how
means
did
to
you get
get.
into the political spectrum or the side of things?
I just the what world events.
Okay.
I kind of have come back. Weirdly enough, I don't go to church, but I've kind of come back to being a believer. I've always believed in God. I never really got away from it.
Hmm.
But this, I go down a lot of rabbit hole. I sit here and paint and I listen to videos. and I've just learned way too many things. The J Dubs had it, I won't even say halfway right, but I think there's some very evil people in positions of power that are,
Yeah.
bringing the whole world down at this moment. And I kind of, just feel like there's a war between good and evil going on right now. And there's a lot at stake. And, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird time to be alive. I don't think like Armageddon is coming or anything like that. I don't think God is that way. I don't think God is a punishing God. I think he's a loving God, he or she. But, it opened my eyes that, well, if God, if is, I won't get into it because I could talk on this for hours and this probably isn't the place. But if
No,
anybody's
it isn't
interested
really.
in talking to me more about it,
Yep.
but just briefly, I think we're spiritual creatures having a human experience.
Yep.
That's a lot of it, but
And once again, that's totally different from what the J-Dubs believe. So well done.
right. It is.
You know,
Yeah.
you're doing the things that you really want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what our life should be about.
It should be. Yeah. It's, yeah, they want you to go down this path that if you veer just a little bit from, you are in the wrong, and to be, you're not a good person, because I mean they get your character. You know how it is. It's
Yep.
not just what you're doing, it's your character then.
Yep.
So, and that's not right. Nobody has the power to do that. Yeah.
No, it's great to see you being yourself.
Yeah, it's great to be myself. It's taken a long time to get here, so it's good to be here. It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So if
Yeah.
somebody was like in a similar position as you when you were a J-Dub, knowing what you now know, what would you encourage them to do?
Oh, if they were looking into Jehovah's Witnesses, yeah.
Yeah, they're sitting
Ah,
there and they're questioning and they're wondering. And
yeah. Oh, I would definitely tell them to run the other way as fast as they could, and don't look back.
yeah,
you,
yeah,
you can never be what they're going to want you to be. You'll never fit the mold. And you'll die trying. I see what it's doing to my brother. He's been in it now 40 years. We're in our 60s, and he's nothing to show for it. I mean, he has his kids, and and thank God he was good at doing his business stuff, because he did have a good business going. So,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
got that. A lot of them just don't even have anything because they give their whole life, and then yeah, you have nothing then, and that's just not right. It's not right. So, yeah, I don't think you need to go to church to find God. That's my belief. You can be spiritual. God can be found anywhere if that's what you want. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who've left want nothing to do with God. I went that route for a while too. It's just in this weird time we're living in, I find myself coming back. Like, okay, we better rethink this. Like I said, been down some rabbit holes and learned a lot of stuff that, a lot of things that we've been lied to about by our government, which has got me why I become political. It's like we're not being told the truth about so much. It's just infuriating.
yeah. So if you think back on all the things that you've done since leaving the J-Dubs, what's one of the happiest times you've had?
The heaviest?
Happiest.
Oh God. Well, when I first left was pretty heavy, obviously. And then when my late husband died of cancer in 2012, and he died in 6 months, after 15 years of marriage. That was, and we had our daughter who we had adopted together, who was 5. So that was
Yep.
pretty hard. But at least
What
he
about
went
happy
quick.
times? Happy times.
Oh, happy. I thought you said heavy. Okay.
No, not
Sorry.
heavy.
Happy. You're like, really? That's happy? What is the look on your face, right? Sorry. Okay. Happy times. I've been
Happy
happy.
times.
You know what? I think happiness is like, you can be happy even in like the pandemic. Okay. You can be happy during it because it's up here where it comes from. It's like, I believe you could have all the money in the world and be miserable. It's all
Mhm.
up here. and and that, I think, just needs to come from within. From I think loving yourself is very, very important. I think it's really hard to get along with other people if you don't love yourself. And um and uh the human brain, we can condition it. It's like, it's any habit can be broken. So it's like, even if you feel like you hate yourself right now, just saying I love you to me, saying I love myself in the mirror like 5 times a day, will break that habit. So that even if you don't really believe it, even if you really don't love yourself, just saying the words every day, your brain will, it's like a computer program. It will start believing it if you start telling it often enough. And that's what I did with me. I just told myself I didn't believe it. You tell yourself the things you absolutely don't believe. You think the worst thing about yourself, and then you make it the opposite. You write an affirmation of it the opposite. Like marshmallows scare me. So then say, I love marshmallows. Whatever it is that you hate or about yourself, you take that and make it into a positive, into an affirmation, and your brain will start believing it after a while. It will. I'm proof of that. So I don't know. Just, yeah, it can be done. Happiness
It
can
can.
be achieved.
It definitely can.
Yes.
And we've got a perfect example in yourself, like you just said.
Yes. I was
And
totally the opposite. Like I said, very suicidally depressed, believe it or not. I went through years of not wanting to be here, just not wanting
yeah,
to be here. And
well,
I'm
we're
not
glad
that
you are
way at
here.
all. When I think back to being that way, it doesn't even feel like it was me. So just shows that it can be achieved. That we can get through pretty much really horrible things. We can get
Yeah,
through them. I mean, we may not forget them, but we can learn from them and hopefully not repeat them. That's the best we could hope for, I think. And you know, stay
no,
away
that's very
from
true.
yeah, stay away from those people who hurt us. I mean, I've learned that one. It's not an easy one. Like, I tend to forgive everybody and let them
Mm,
have multiple chances, but sometimes you just got to let people go if they're hurting you, in your life. Like I said, I went through that whole time period where it seemed like everybody I attracted was like out to get me one way or another. And we don't need people like that enough. There are good people out there. If we're attracting those type of people into our life, I think it's something inside of us that we need to work on to get to the so that doesn't happen. For me, I think it was like said about loving myself. Then I stopped attracting people like that. And if they show up today, I do know how to tell them that I don't want them in my life. I mean, occasionally it does still happen. It happened a few years ago. I got really hurt by somebody I thought was a friend, but she really wasn't. So, I mean, it happens. We're
yeah,
human. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, thank you very much for being so yourself
thank
on our little
you.
chat.
Thank
It's
you
so
for
nice.
having me.
Oh, it's been great. It's nice to see that even though you went through that hard time, you recognize it for what it is.
Yes.
And you seem so bubbly.
Thank
And I
you.
hope one day we can meet.
I hope
And
we
then I
can
can try
too.
that food of yours to prove how good a
Yes.
cook you are.
Yes. Yes. Take me up on that. Yes. I'd
So if
love to meet
somebody
you.
wants to reach out to you and have a chat to you, are you happy with that?
Absolutely. Yes, they can reach me through Messenger. I don't always get back right away, but I do always get back.
Yeah.
So I've got, two Messenger accounts and two Facebook accounts now. So it kind of drives me a little nuts, but I do get back to them eventually. So yeah, be patient.
Oh, that's good. So yeah, if anybody would like to reach out to Cindy, the offer is there to have a chat to her. And
Absolutely.
by all means, take hold of it. We need all the help and all the support. We're all at different stages. We've just had one with Cindy and how bad it was, but look at her now. Thank you once again for being
Thank
here,
you.
Cindy. We've
Thank you.
appreciated you being open and sharing some of those dark and hard times which we all go through. We
Yes.
just find it hard to even talk about it. And we really appreciate your
Oh,
authenticity,
thank
the real
you.
person that you are now.
Thank you for having me on here.
No, it's been great. All right, guys, for those who've been on the live stream, thank you for being here. For those who are going to watch it afterwards, please do so. We hope that you find some inspiration for yourself in this little chat that we've had with Cindy. And by all means, reach out to Cindy, have a chat to her. She's there for us, to support us, to encourage us. And that's such a lovely offer, Cindy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So until our next live stream, we look forward to catching up again very soon. In the meantime, keep safe,
You too.
keep smiling, and be happy. Until next time,
Okay.
look after yourself. Catch you
got
then.
it.
Bye.
Bye.